Hey guys, Jamie here. We're on day 15 of our devotional. So if you're just joining us, you can download the Bible app, go down to the plans section, scroll over until it says kids, and then scroll until it says walk with Jesus 21 days through Matthew. Okay, we're on day 15. We're looking at Matthew chapter 22, verses 34 through 40. And what's been happening so far is Jesus has been teaching, and his teachings have actually started to upset the religious people, the religious leaders of the time, the Pharisees especially. They were really frustrated by what he was teaching, and people were following him more than following what they believed, because remember how they were trying to put up a law? So this is the 10 Commandments. This is the law that God had provided. They wanted to make sure that this law was so secure that they added all these other laws too. So they put on this really big fence around the house. And when people would go and they would mess up in this area, they would get in trouble, kind of thing, right? They're not good enough. They need to repent, all of that. And Jesus is here, and they're asking him, hey, what's the greatest commandment? Trying to trap him to see if he's going to answer like them or if he's going to answer in a different way. So let's look at verse 34. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they were another religious group, they gathered together. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Now this testing, again, wasn't something that they had just come up with. It's something that they had been doing. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? He said to them, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. And the second is like this. You shall love the neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. And this is a common question that the Pharisees would ask each other. They would debate to see which one of the 10 commandments they thought was the greatest. A lot of times they ended up coming to believe that they thought that respect your parents, take care of your parents, love your parents, and that one was actually the greatest commandment. Well, if you actually turn to the 10 commandments, you'll see in Deuteronomy 5, roll over to Deuteronomy chapter 5, 10 commandments. Starting in verse 6, you'll see the 10 commandments here. If you look at the first 4 commandments, it talks about how to love God. And how do you love God? Well, you should have no other gods before him. Don't make yourself an idol. Don't bow down and worship them. Don't make wrongful use of the Lord's name. So don't say the Lord's name in vain. And keep the Sabbath holy. So those 4 ways are ways to honor God, right? Ways to love God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind. Now, if you look at the next set of commandments, those are actually ways that you should love to one another. So you go to verse 16, honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't bear false witness. And don't covet. So, in essence, Jesus is saying, hey, the first 4 commands here is love God with everything. That's the most important. And then the next 6 commands that he gives you are how to show love to one another. And the thing is, the Pharisees had kind of lost sight on what the most important things were. They were so concerned with protecting the law and making sure they do the right thing that they forgot what it meant. Remember, this is what it means here. He's trying to tell them the most important thing is to love God with your whole heart, with your whole soul, with your whole mind. And he's saying the next most important thing is to love other people as yourself. So I want you guys to think about this. How can you simplify the way that you look at Christianity? Instead of thinking of all these rules of these are things that I do, these are things that I don't, think about it as, is this showing love to God? Is this showing love for other people? I want you to write a list of ways that you show love to God. Write a list in your journal. And then write a list of ways that you can show love to other people. Think about your friends, your family, strangers. Think about different ways to show love to people. If something you do throughout the day isn't showing love to God and it doesn't fall into the other category of showing love to others, then it's probably not something you should be doing. If it's something you're questioning and you're like, I don't know if I should do this, think about it. Is it showing love to God or showing love to others? No, it actually might hurt someone's feelings. No, it might actually put me in a situation where I make a bad choice. Well, those are probably not things you should be doing, right? Okay, well, I just want to let you guys know that I love you, and I hope you remember to love God and to love others, and I'll see you later for day 16.